Welcome to Flesh and Pod, a flesh and blood podcast, breaking down weekly news and notes from the tournament scene, community drama, game strategy, and more. And now, here are your hosts, Darick and Logan.
Do it.
Wait, don't hit the record
Too
button.
late, I did it.
No.
Just hit it.
Welcome to excuse number 195 for me of hanging out with my friends, aka Flesh and Pod. My name's Logan. I am your host, and with me, as always, for the most part, is what did you call yourself today, you piece of shit? Oh, Bondage of Agony.
His life partner. Oh,
hetero life
that's
mate.
not it.
Hetero-ish life mate, Darick Oswald, and joining us as well tonight because I wanted to. Like, that's really it. Is our good friend DM Armada. Sir, what have you been up to? School started. That sucks.
School started, and I'm a dead man walking. It's always at the beginning of the year when I have to organize 3 databases worth of students and make sure they all say the same thing across 3 different interfaces, where I remember why I don't like the beginning of the year.
Huh.
Yeah.
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 That sounds particularly painful.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to say my wife says hello to you and yours.
Oh,
and
yeah.
also,
she's
if
pretty
anyone,
cool, for those that don't know.
If anyone knows, it's her, because she is a front office secretary for an elementary school who does all of the attendance stuff.
She's the registrar, yeah.
Yeah.
I am in constant contact with the registrar for the first 3 weeks of school, and today we had our first night of a 3-night band camp. So this one time at band camp, I moved 25 tubas. Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Very cool.
Do you know what's worse than that though? If you've ever had to move 25 3-bas.
It would be very tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that would work, but
How many holes are in a 3-ba?
So popular misconception, it's 3.
Oh, okay.
actually, that's not scientific. There's not a scientific consensus on that. They're still arguing it to this day. Yeah.
I mean, it does sound like there'd be 3, but I thought it'd just be a clever name. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's the old classic, how many holes does a straw have, right?
No, that's not classic. That's just...
The limit does not exist,
right.
is all I know.
There's an upper limit, but we've never found it. A straw is theoretical.
That's the straw man that you argue with on the internet.
For fuck's sake. I knew it.
Is.
I knew it.
We got there in the end, everybody. We got there in the end. Hey, y'all play Flesh and Blood? You ever heard of that game? That's a fun game.
Yes, I've been given feedback numerous times that this show's better when we talk about Flesh and Blood. Weird.
Since when?
I don't know. Somebody will tell us, sure. But
oh man, I got a story for y'all.
Oh, bring it! We're here for stories. I'm ready for story time already.
It was at the end of the night. I had just
Always
finished putting all the rooms back together, and I got my Wi-Fi hotspot turned on my phone. I got my computer out. I started up a game of Talishar there at work while the kids were wrapping things up, and I queued into this room. And this guy, it was in the Blitz format, and he had titled the room, "No Overplayed Heroes, no Arcane." And I was like, that's fine. Very particular, but I'm sure maybe they're just testing something out. And so I get in the room, and the chat of the room was a bloodbath of other people just being told, no, leave. And people questioning whether or not this person wanted to play them, and them just being tersely put to shame over and over again. And so here I am, queued in with my Blitz Kasai list. That's right, Blitz new Kasai. And I was immediately told, no, leave.
Oh, really?
So I left, because apparently Kasai overplayed.
I would have predicted that. So my suspicion, especially because there was a litany, is that this is probably somebody doing something for a bit, whether it's their own personal bit and they just think it's funny. Maybe they're filming something for funny later. I do think it would be kind of funny that no matter what anyone queued in with, you're just like, no, Betsy, too overplayed.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem, because I played a game and then they were still there. So I thought maybe they changed their mind. So I queued back in and they were like, look, I told you the first time, leave my room now, period. And when you put the period at the end of a sentence
final.
That's been typed out, it's final. And I was like, oh, was there a hero that you were kind of more looking for? I could switch. And they were like, no, you had your chance to play me. And you came back in a second time after I told you the first time. You're not getting to play with me. And I'm like, okay, if you want, I could switch. They were like, no, you're going to leave right now. Don't make me say it again. And I'm like, okay, my loss.
World's best
Sorry,
room.
we could have gotten to play that game together. Not gonna do that again. So, but I thought about it. I was like, maybe what if I queued in a third time?
With
what would happen?
Olympia.
It doesn't matter what you queue in with. When they eventually tell you no, you just have to say, look, I just like being humiliated. It's a thing for me, and this is free.
You're 100% just you're hitting my kink, and I'll be right back. I got to go finish really quick, then I'll be right back. I need it again. That would have been the right response, honestly. Yeah, okay.
Well, we didn't go back in because I
you had a period. There was punctuation, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm respecting their boundaries. So,
Guess, sure.
Look at me.
But Flesh and Blood was played this weekend, not by me, obviously not by Charmer, and I doubt by Steven, as he's been busy with this, that, and the other thing. But yeah, there was a calling in Copenhagen,
about, like in the
Flesh and Blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get to.
This is why he always says obviously me, because due to some recording issues with the mini projects I'm on, I very rarely get to make my armory. So unless I travel to an event, I'm almost always on Talishar, unfortunately. But we don't count that. Obviously, the game is called Flesh and Blood for a reason. So
what's your name on Talishar? Do you want to disclose that, or are you willing to disclose that?
So I have a throwaway account that I will sometimes jam like just cheesy games on, but I also like when I stream, which is few and far between, I'll just hop on Charmer though and try to make friends and whatever. But
deal.
Mine's the easiest one possible. It's the same as it is everywhere else. It's just my name.
Yeah.
If you see
literally
my
the words
name,
just my name.
No, Logan Peterson, all one word.
Oh, okay. I thought it was way more. I was like, my name, just my name. And that was like, that's clever.
Now, you see, I have this thing where I know that I'm a dipshit and will say completely head-ass things on the internet because I'm a dipshit. And so I just put my actual name on everything so I can be held accountable for my dipshittery.
There it is. At least you have a consistent thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, my branding is simple. It's my name, which is shit branding, but it's there. We'll talk about that later because it's a listener question. But we did actually have merch stuff to talk about eventually here because we have new and different merch starting to flow through. People keep wanting to do stuff for us, which is fantastic.
That's cool.
So the play mats will be coming back. Hats and such will be coming around. There will be a new shop. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of shit, I guess. I don't know. People say, hey, I want to do this. And I say, okay. That sounds good. I don't know. But my playmat guy had to go solo and get his own machine and everything else. So that's why the playmats have been behind. But he got his playmat machine in, and so he can start cranking those things out again, which is fantastic. And then apparently the software or something is locked behind a wall that the company has, and they didn't send the key to the software to unlock the machine to use it. So he has to reach out tomorrow and get that.
Fix it.
Like, that's interesting, but okay. But there was Flesh and Blood played in the Flesh and Blood world. The first one was in Calling Copenhagen, which I would have loved to go to. But it was won by Francesco Giorgio on Slippy. So Ragni Slip Through the Cracks has put up a lot of results lately. Top 8, 2 gravy, our standard gravy. Looks like a Waffle House. 2 Slippy, which is what happens after the Waffle House. A Jarl, a Syndra, which could happen depending on your Waffle House order. a Fang, and an Ocilio. So pretty kind of chalk anymore. The only thing we're missing is Dash IOs.
Yeah.
So looking at this, you could say that working at Waffle House, you slipped in the gravy, burned yourself on the stove, went to the meat freezer to cool your hand off, and then you got shocked by the outlet. So you went outside to get to the breaker, and that's where you got bit by a dog. And so that would cover all of your heroes here.
And I think +1. So yeah. Which is just a standard night at Waffle House, right?
I mean, there's
Honestly,
worse
it's a
nights.
slow night. Yeah.
There's worse nights.
That's a slow night, sure. So I think that's kind of like what I would expect. I mean, the Jarl being the wild card in there, the Fangs seem to be coming around more often.
Yeah, I think Jarl's starting to kind of pop up a little bit more. I know Michael Hamilton a couple of weeks ago ran out Jarl in, I forget where it was, but he brought it out. It didn't go as well for him, I think, if I remember correctly. But he's not the only one that's like trying to bring that out. Pablo Pintor, I think, had Jarl this go around. Yeah, it's starting to make some waves, a little bit of traction, probably just because it has the capacity to just stonewall some of these like no block, no pitch decks.
Yeah, Channel Lake Frigid is a card that Jarl gets to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also just access to nearly uninteractable ways to kill Compass is also pretty good.
Right.
Sure.
And historically, like if you're trying to spike a tournament, obviously player skill trumps all, but it doesn't hurt to like accidentally win a game or two along the way. And
Also,
that is a great way to do it.
Having your cards in deck all facing the correct direction. That also impacts it. Just gonna put that out there. No, for no reason, no particular reason.
None whatsoever.
Just gonna put that out there. There was also Steven's doing math.
No, sorry. I was trying to find, because I wanted to look along. I was trying to find the Calling Copenhagen thing, because I wanted to look along at like both it and the Battle Hardened. But keep going. You do your thing.
Well, I mean, they're out in the website. That's where I get everything.
Yeah. I know. They kind of hide it. It's harder to find after the fact, so you kind of have to just Google it.
It goes. You have to go into the
Calling
events thing, and
It was another event that the Battle Hardened looked different from the Calling, which I do find very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, again, same thing happened though.
That's what I was leading into.
Where it was a hard capped Battle Harden, and the Battle Harden was well sold out before the Calling hit like a penultimate round. So a plethora of people were finally out of the running, Pablo included. And so they did not get to register for the Battle Hardened. So a lot of those people who are still in contention for day twos that lost, in the second to last or last round to knock them out of day two contention weren't able to register for the Battle Hardened. And that's something we talked about last episode, where we're probably at a spot where it's time to add a second Battle Hardened to these Calling weekends, but we're going to get to it. We'll cycle back. But you're right. This is the second time that the Battle Hardened does not look like the Calling. So the top 8 here is 1 Slippy, so that matches. 2 Mario. It was won by Mario, by the way. Conrad Neva, congratulations. 2 Dash IO, missing from the other one. 2 a Vincent, not in the Calling top 8. A Prism, not in the Calling top 8. Yeah, that's always the crazy one. And a Syndra. So then if we take that and go, okay, we have another one that's a Battle Hardened that didn't have a Calling attached to it in Phoenix. So there we have our stock 2 Gravy, our stock 2 Slippy, our Ocilio, our Dash IO, a Verdance, and a Florian. So
and Ocilio wins it.
And Ocilio wins it, yeah.
As you would expect.
But it's Alexander Vor. It kind of doesn't count.
Of course.
So it's really interesting because, again, we caught onto this last week where it's like, hold on. There are some really discordant results here between the two tournaments, even though they're being held at the same time. But the reason is because of the Battle Hardened caps, which I think we're into a spot now where they really need to look at this and make an adjustment to either include like a ProQuest Plus or a second Battle Hardened or something on that Sunday for the people that kind of have that itch to keep playing, for them to get in. The wait list in Kansas City for the Battle Hardened, the wait list for the Battle Hardened was over 100 people.
Wow.
Right.
That's crazy.
Which is the size of a fucking battle hardened. So, you can just have another one. And we were kind of thinking through like the staffing of it too. But you're going to have some judges free up from side events to be able to help out a little bit too. You can, and I would think that
also, I mean, just like when you're thinking about the math, right? The 100 people that want to play in that battle hardened, if they go play in something else, like you would still need judges for whatever they're playing in, right? Like the judge to player ratio doesn't change just because the event changes,
unless they all just leave.
Well, right, but you know what I mean. Like when you're looking at total demand, it's one of those things where just because that's not the event doesn't mean that you still don't need people. Right. So
true.
Yep. And so it's interesting because, you know, I think we know our meta. It's 2 gravy, 2 slippy, fill in the blanks is your top end, right? Like when you're talking about top 8s, we have 4 slots that seem pretty solidified. If you go back to Kansas City, it was actually 3 gravy, and no
2 Acilio.
Yeah, and no slippy.
So I was just getting ready to say, I think that part of it, if I was going for like your standard meta prediction, I would say you're safe, right? Like your betting line for Vegas is 2 gravy, 2 slippy, 2 burst heroes. Now that could be Syndra, Dash, Acilio, fill in the blank. There's a bunch of heroes right now that I think do similar things, but just a little bit different. And then like 2 wild cards where that's where maybe your Vincent or your Prism shows up. But
it's starting to look that way. And I know that there's been, and Steven, you did a video on it. I keep calling you by your government name. I don't know why.
You can call me whatever you want. I don't mind.
Well, I know that, but I'm just, I don't want to be overly familiar with you, even though we've slept together.
I don't want to be overly familiar with you. You want to be unfamiliar with me.
Yeah. At any rate, you did a video recently about bans in Gravy Bones.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was somewhat in agreement. I think this is a time if you really want to do something to Gravy, and I don't think you need to.
Nope.
But I think if you're going to, mine is restrict Chum. That's it. You get 1 copy of Chum.
I don't know if that moves the needle because you're watching. I don't know if you're watching any of these past weekend games, like really the past 3 weekends. Chum is not backbreaking these games. It could be on other tables, but if you're watching these, it's like, oh, okay, he's just drawing 4 cards because he has like 3 extra resources because Swell hits the
right. No, that's true.
Hits the pitch zone. You're pitching off of Swell. And Swell is just doing crazy things. And your tipples are good as well. So, like, if you wanted to, like, go crazy, you could definitely hit the deck. But I think if you're really trying to pull down the top end, just Swell, take that. Take all copies, heck. Make the deck change in a little way. I think that'd be fine without going nuclear.
I think what you do with Chum is you don't necessarily pull Gravy down a ton. You do let some other decks come up. Because against a lot of the field that are basically unplayable right now, Chum is just a 3 time walks in the deck minimum. And that's really hard for some of these decks that have to throw resources and throw cards at this thing, and multiple cards, to get it off the field. And that's going to happen to you 3 times. That's 3 full turns that you're spending getting rid of this stupid fucking thing. And that's what, I mean, thankfully, the Kasai matchup kind of looks at Chum and goes, that's cool, and then kills them anyway. Yeah. But in some of these other matchups where, you think about Vincent having to send a turn at a Chum and not get their effects off of the card that they want to send, that's hard. That is very painful loss of damage. If you think of things like, again, Dash.io has to spend a turn taking care of that, because it's going to take 2 cards most of the time to get Chum off the board. That's hard on Dash. Now, Dash has the luxury of coming out of the gates quite a bit and just putting enough pressure that it doesn't matter. But some of these that are a step slower, it's a lot harder. Uzuri comes to mind. Like, Chum is horrible for Uzuri.
Uzuri is the one that I think, if something happened to Chum, could see a really big spike in play rate because she's outstanding into Slippy. And her Gravy matchup is like not great, at least right now. There are things you can do to make it better, but like that's the biggest problem. So Chum is a bit of a problem, but also, I mean, to Armada's point, Swell is a problem too, though, right?
Yeah,
and if you're
it is. Tipple's a giant problem too, though. But the deck doesn't function without it.
If you're trying to impact it, you can. I think my biggest issue is that I think a lot of people want changes to be made to it because they saw what happened to Aurora, and especially if you're an Aurora player, you kind of feel cheated because your hero got to LL and run the gamut, and then they made the LL changes, and now we're seeing the result of that. And so they're like, okay, well, they said if they were going to make the LL changes, but there were problems, then there would be, more frequent, BNRs, et cetera. And I understand that point of view, but I think the issue here is twofold. One, the LL changes weren't because they also wanted to just start banning more frequently. It was more so to prevent what happened to Aurora, right? So that was supposed to be the bad thing, and we shouldn't be looking at it from that lens. And then the other direction is Aurora was like half of top eights, not a quarter of top eights, right? Like it's okay to expect 2 Gravies a top 8.
Yeah.
And again, I keep trying to remind people that since the game came out and we all got that lore book, there was maybe no other class that people were just genuinely excited for than Necromancer. We waited 5 years. Players finally got one. Even if you weren't somebody who was hyped for Necromancer, there's also a lot of players that love ally classes. And Dromai LL'd, and the original Prism with Aura LL'd, and yes, there's one now, but it's not really like the emphasis of the game plan. A lot of those angels are just not the same, and so there's just, outside of power level, I think that there is an explanation for the popularity. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still doing well. It's winning events, but also it's winning events with players that are just really good at the game most of the time.
That's a big part of it.
So, is it that they're the problem, or are we just back to like Flesh and Blood is a game of skill? So I'm on the I'm doing this big thing just to say, like, I am of the belief that if LSS does decide to address something, I'm fine with it. And if they don't, I'm also fine with it.
1,000%. I think, honestly, I will say this. I don't know if it has been put more completely and yet succinctly as what you just did there. That is a full run of exactly what we've experienced to this point with Gravy Bones. Gravy Bones is incredibly popular. It is potent without being so broken that it's Zen levels. It is a great pair. Like it's a great pair with what Aurora was. Maybe a tiny step forward in some respects and not so far in others. But the exact change you talked about by changing the Living Legend system, that is like the first stopgap to prevent, just slightly too fast going. Now, if Gravy Bones was winning every single event, that is when I feel like their second stopgap, where they're going to do more frequent changes, would come into play. But I think there's a lot of players that, exactly like you said, see the connection between Aurora and Gravy Bones and go, but you didn't do it here, and they feel a little cheated. But that's, and I understand it, but that's not what you should feel. You should understand that, yes, what happened with Aurora sucked, and they acknowledged it, that it went so fast, and it wasn't something that you could play for this longer amount of time. But they made the change, and that change is in place, so it doesn't happen again quite like that. They don't have to nuke the deck.
No, if we're taking a data-driven approach, which is what we should do.
Ew.
Oh, fuck off. Right now, with a national season and then the competitive events after, Gravy Bones has soaked up 320 points. It's at 160, but so times 2 because he's a halfer, and has only been around since the 0.5 multiplier, so there's no need to go back and do any recalculation. 320 points. That is certainly not the craziest we've ever seen by any stretch the imagination. It's not even KO level.
I was just about to say literally that here. I was going to say it's not that it's not like Starvo or whatever. It's not even KO. That's literally what I was going to say. When Heavy Hitters came out and we saw the explosion of KO at the time, like it's not even the same pace as that. To be
fair, KO's emergence came during an RTN season. So far more events. And so more time to scoop up those points. But on the same token, it was a much bigger number than even 320, if I recall correctly. So
KO, get this, KO and May 13th of 2024 had 557 points.
Right. There you go.
I knew it was over 500.
Released in
because people
February
were like, it's
26th.
halfway there.
Yep.
Yeah, February 26th, March, April, May. This was before 3 months had hit. He reached 557. And now he's kind of just middling out at, right now he's chilling at 737.
Right. So it's not that, it's part of it is we have this kind of weird new and shiny complex that happens in Flesh and Blood as well. And it seems to gravitate around the armory decks. At least recently. So everybody get your Pleiades staples now.
I think they're picking the armory deck based on who they expect people are going to really gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Well, just that they're going to like.
Maybe. I think there's a bit of a chicken and the egg here, though, because we know that the game is growing, right?
Yeah.
So how much of this is also just like people that are getting into the game also are using the armory decks as their jumping off point?
Sure.
Yep. It's kind of hard to tell. Like with Gravy, obviously it's a brand new class to begin with. So the people that were going to gravitate to it weren't doing it because it was an armory deck one way or the other. I still firmly believe it's ally class plus necromancer plus a pirate. It's everything people want.
Exactly. It hits it hits on so many boxes.
But like Aurora, for example, I think again, that was kind of one of those things where it was touted to be like the entry point for the game for like almost, a season, if you will. Like I know that she speed ran it, but when you think about what was occurring back during that, convention cycle with Gen Con and everything else in the first strike decks, like, is it that they picked Aurora because they thought people would gravitate to it, or is it that people gravitated to it because that was a bunch of people's like taste of the game and they were like, hey, this is fun, I like to do 4 attacks a turn, like I'll make this my main.
First taste is free, babe, always.
Yep.
And so I think it's time that we can mothball the Gravy argument for a while. We have a new set coming out.
Can we?
I think at least until we have.
Isn't it like literally next week when we get our next announcement?
We get an announcement on Labor Day, effectively. So the first here in the U.S. We will end up talking about it because Jesus Christ, of course.
I was going to say, like, there will be an announcement and then we'll have to go like see.
Which is when we'll put it to bed. Right now, we're just like, we can table it for a little bit. I honestly am an advocate for no changes, just full stop. I don't necessarily believe that's what will happen.
If you could change any amount of things to create your perfect metagame, and maybe not like your specifically, I want my only hero to be like the best hero and everyone else sucks, but if you could make any number of changes to craft what you would believe would be the most enjoyable metagame, what would you do?
Like how would I start, or what would I do in general?
What would you do in general? Like, where would you start? What changes would you make?
Step 1, unban everything except for Drone of Brutality. Give me 2 weeks of results, and then reapproach and start actually trimming from there. Because I feel like that's the spot where because a lot of these things were restricted or banned or whatever in the Stone Age. And let's see how bad these things really are right now. Now, yes, Acilio with Ball Lightning is fucking terrifying. The tomes, like the Tome of Divinity back in Prism, no thank you. Anything in Prism is a no thank you. Belittle Minnowism combo coming back around for people to abuse in all these aggressive decks sounds awful. But it sounds awful. And I want people to be able to take a run at this kind of with fresh eyes. Now I know you can do that in LL, and LL right now is great, but the thing about the difference there is there's no chain, there's no Viscer, right? There's no Starvo, there's, you have this, there's no Aurora, there's no Zen, there's no Enigma, there's no Nuke, because obviously Mystic Heroes are just too good. On down the list, right? So we're letting those power cards come back into a format that's never seen them in the same environment. So let it happen for a minute, see what happens. And then from there, fine tune. Because who knows? Like Zephyr Needle Ira, yeah, sure. We already know that's going to be a giant pain in the ass because it wins in Living Legend. But, but does it better than Bond's Katsu? What is it? And that would be my starting point, is just unban everything. Let it be the Wild West for a minute. And then go from there and go, okay, those are obviously way too broken. Remove and do an additional curating. But I think it's fun. I think that that's an interesting way to approach things. And I know a lot of people who are more in the competitive mindset are going to be like, you're toxic and that's awful and that never should happen. But
I could see them doing that for a Battle Hardened. I could see them announcing that like a month in advance and being like, look, by the way, here's this new format. Honestly, I think that might be kind of hype. They did something like that. What would you do, Charmer?
Well, real quick, what I would say, even if they don't do it for Battle Hardened, what they should do is make it just like a pseudo premiere gold foil event at Worlds, where people can like bring something special for the side event. It's not quite LL, but like have at it. Instead of Project Blue, they can call it, Project Red. Yeah, Red Alert.
Yeah.
What would I do? I think that the meta is not far off from what I would want anyway, and any of the things that I have even sort of strong opinions about would just kind of require almost like a design shift of sorts that I don't think could be solved or cured with any sort of bans or restrictions. And the only thing that I have any strong feelings about, if I'm being entirely honest, is just that some matchups, and they're getting better, and I understand that things take time, but like some matchups are just still, in my opinion, too polarized. That's really my only ever complaint when I play the game in general, is just when I feel like it's a lost cause, like the moment that like a hero flips over, you know what I mean? And that's not to say that you can't win those games, right? Like, have I, in the old days, right? Like, did I ever beat Old Prism playing Bravo? Absolutely. But did I feel good about it even when I won? No, not usually. My brain was fried because it was like a 90-10 matchup. So thankfully, I don't think we have anything that is truly 90-10 right now, but there are still some matchups that are pretty polarizing. And I just, from a player experience standpoint, even if I'm on the winning end, like, I don't think either of us really had fun.
I can see that.
So for me, it would just be trying to address those, I think, in more meaningful ways. And I think that the hardest aspect to balance around that creates this feeling of non-matchups is twofold. It's disruption and it's allies, at least right now, right? Some classes have great ways to deal with allies and others kind of don't. And there are different ways that could be addressed, but like right now it just kind of feels a little clunky. And then as far as the disruption goes, it's interesting because like, I'm very vocal about my love for pummel and or any sort of discard effects, and I like disruption. But the reason that I like disruption in Flesh and Blood, if I'm being entirely honest, is because it's something that makes the game harder to computate. So what I mean by that is that in a world where disruption doesn't exist, for the most part, people are just doing a value calculation, right? Is this card worth more if I block versus if I pitch it versus if I attack with it, whatever, right? We can all do the math to make number go big, number go burr. But the moment that you have on-hit effects that are relevant, that starts to change things. But if the on-hit effects are more than just like, okay, I make number go bigger, or I make, my next turn better to make number go bigger. If we're talking about like, hey, they're going to have to discard a card, right? What's the value of a card? I don't know. It depends on what's in their hand, right? Like this could be a big deal. It could be nothing. That's the gamble I have to take. The moment that you introduce that, I think that's where the game really shines, because to me, the magic of Flesh and Blood is that tension of a 4-card hand every turn, and disruption builds and emphasizes that tension. So I don't want to see disruption go away, but I do also recognize that if it's too much, then on the receiving end, those players are not having a good time either, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So that's, to me, those are the two things that I would like look into, and I don't have, you know, a perfect answer because I'm, you know, not a full-time game designer. I'm an amateur / aficionado at best, but yeah, that's, you know, I think the meta's mostly fine. Those are the only two things that I would even consider pain points, and I think that that's just solved with like future design.
Your turn, Armada. What would you do?
I would take all of the heroes and half their health, and then make all decks 40 cards. And then I would introduce a bunch of really fun, kind of off the wall heroes. Some of which you could probably find in other formats already. I don't know, but you could probably do something with that. I'd probably do that. That's what I'd lean towards.
Yeah.
Something in that ballpark.
Sounds like a really innovative and novel idea.
Sounds kind of like Project Blue.
Yeah, something like sure. Yeah, that's what we were
Similar
doing.
to that.
Yeah, okay. I like this. You could workshop that a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
Give it like a poppy kind of like a quick answer, something like
Something
fast,
snappy.
like speed or blast or I don't know.
Yeah,
like
Nitro.
Just
Nitro.
as long as we avoid any like negative connotations that
copyrighted.
relate to World War II or something, that would probably be fine. But
I think leave those in. I think people have moved on. I don't think.
This country sure shit hasn't.
I think we just moved past it. No, I'm actually in the same boat. I think that the meta is like very close to being just where I would want to engage with it a lot. And I think, you know, it's interesting. You talk about disruption being one of those things that kind of messes with the math a little bit and makes things more a little shady. I think you can go the opposite way and you can talk about incentives. I, as Kasai, want to have a gold token because it could make my turn better. How much better? Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. Now you have to decide whether or not you want to stop my sword from hitting you in the face so that I can't possibly make my turn better by making a gold token. And I think that type of incentive gameplay is like the opposite side of the coin to disruption that I think that they could definitely explore more. Because that's one of the reasons that I love Kasai so dearly, is that she messes with the math in a way that really I can't think of a lot of other heroes that do, because she pays off herself by creating gold tokens, which pay off by making your swords free and giving you another card in hand and netting you a resource if you pitch a blue. So it's like, okay, I can either disrupt my opponent or I can ask them to not block, take damage, and give me something good. And so I think that there's like two ways that they could really take that and play with it even more.
So here's the thing. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And you know who also fits that bill just significantly worse than Kansai? My boy Huntsman. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I love Huntsman for very much the same reason, because so silver, you know what you're getting out of silver, but it's less the silver part and more so the, you know, if I'm the blocking player, what am I going to lose out on that gets banished if I don't block this, right?
Sure,
or you know, what did they send to the bottom of my deck when they moved something with the contract, right?
The best
so again,
assassin.
It's still my favorite to
well, but thankfully, Assassin's already got everything they'll ever need, so we're good there.
Yeah.
But we do have we did have some spoilers over the weekend. The first one is Hunter or Hunted, which is an assassin card. Darick, do the honors.
Oh, okay. Well, Hunter or Hunted is a 3. Hold on, let me pull it up. I want to do this do this justice because I want to make sure that
It's weird.
It took me a minute for it to actually register that it was a defense reaction.
Yeah, it's 3 resources to play.
Yeah,
I know that. I just
no, it took me 3 times reading it to actually understand what the hell the card was trying to do.
I was just blown away that it was a defense reaction. That was
it's very much up there with like Take the Bait, I think, in that it does what the hero really wants you to do, but it takes a minute for it to sit in, right? So, all right. Hunter or Hunted. So this is a 3-cost blue pitch assassin defense reaction that has 4 block. So before we even go into the text, it is like a 2-card 4. If we're talking again, that raw numbers, not talking about the shady gray area, which is pretty below rate, though you do get the benefit of it being a defense reaction. So in a world where overpower or dominate matter more, could be relevant. But it says, when this defends, name a card. The attacking hero reveals the top card of their deck. If it's the named card, banish it, search their hand, deck, and arsenal for up to 3 cards with that name and banish them. Then they shuffle. But wait, there's more. Contract. While this is defending, you are contracted to banish opponent's cards with the chosen name. Whenever you complete this contract, create a silver token. So, some things to note about this card before I even talk about whether it's good or not. One, if you are playing this in Huntsman, which I personally think this is like the only one of the assassins that wants to play it, maybe Mario, but that could be a stretch. Huntsman, because it's a contract, even though it's a defense reaction, will still get to do the peek. So you will get to look and then be able to name the card. Now, again, you could just run this in other assassins and blind name if you want, but I think again, awesome. Like this is what you're meant to do with this, right? And it's in the art, it's in everything about this card. It's Huntsman. So you do get to name the card. Now, here's where the interesting part comes. All right, so first of all, best case scenario, you get 3 cards, you get 3 silver. But also some of the cards that are on the top are also in your opponent's hand and or arsenal, and you get rid of, additional cards, right? So like actual hand disruption. That's best case scenario. It gets a little bit weird when it's not something that has multiple cycles. So for example, hitting something like Tipple, a little bit different versus say hitting like Chum, where there's only a 3 of. Specifically with Gravy, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to call this out, there are 2 other problems that kind of hurt you in the Gravy matchup. The first is this does not say discard pile. So this is only hand, deck, and arsenal. So if something is already there because of Watery Grave, you can't stop it. You still need to be running Gravekeeping, folks. The other thing is, because this is a defense reaction, when you play it, you could name the card. If they have a gold available, they could activate the hero ability and then just get rid of the card on top. So you're still kind of like maybe, so like the play pattern is interesting because like you could just not name what's there and make them draw into it anyway. You could just push it down and then do a blind name, so now you're both guessing blind, which I think is going to be the most fun way to do it. I do also see scenarios where, because I've already been kind of toying around with this idea anyway of Amnesia making a comeback, because then they can't use their hero ability if you connect with Amnesia the turn before, because they will not have a gold token. Cards lose their names, so they can't activate the hero by getting rid of a gold token because they don't have gold. So there are things you can do. You can also obviously do it when they don't have a gold, which is like laughable because Gravy Bones is bathing in it, but it is another window. Now, against other heroes, again, obviously Kano, it's bad, but it's in a defense reaction. Like, you're not playing it against Kano anyway. This is just a blue pitch. You do at least get that benefit. It still goes to your AB a million in Assassin because you should be running a set of Widows. But yeah, so like there are some heroes that it hurts you. Your other bad matchups are still bad because they already were bad with the contract stuff. So by that I mean Verdance and Florian. You're just helping them banish stuff, so they're going to get there faster. You do have the benefit, again, of kind of like seeing, and maybe you can dodge the earth stuff, but it is what it is. To me, the interesting piece about this though is that this is a card that has the potential to just be mostly dead or actively bad, because it's either undervalued or, you don't hit anything in hand or arsenal, or whatever's on top is lackluster, because yes, you get to see it, but you don't get to see it before you play it. So you're still kind of going in. yeah, there is the silver aspect, right? Like that doesn't hurt. It's obviously a much better way to generate silver as opposed to like playing payday shenanigans. So there is that. It also accelerates the fatigue game plan, which I firmly believe is the only way to be playing Huntsman right now.
100%.
So the issue though is that again, and this is why I love Huntsman and I love the gray area of this game. This could be also really strong, not just in like, okay, you hit a card and also they had 2 copies in their hand. Like that's the obvious one. It could be strong because if you have good game knowledge and you understand your pain points and matchups, you can potentially use this to cripple your opponents at times, right? Yes, if you're just like going hard fatigue numbers, you'll just peek and always name the card. But there could be situations like against Brute, for example, where if I look at the top card and it's not a Blood Rush, I might consider shipping it under and saying Blood Rush anyway, just to see if I get lucky. Right? Because the thing is you're still
banishing the card.
Well, no, you only banish it if it's the named card.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So you're not going to get the banish, but you are still going to get the block out of it. And so like, it's not the end of the world, but ultimately in the situations where you do get lucky, you kind of just accidentally win the game. Right. So I don't know. I really like the design of the card because it does a couple of things I think were really important. It gives Huntsman specifically support without helping the other assassins. And I know that when this came out, there was a lot of people like, oh, like Assassin needed so much support. But the reality is
Huntsman does.
Huntsman does, but also even though it says Assassin on the card, Huntsman is not an assassin. You have to understand they've kind of, at least for now, abandoned the contract play style. But even if they do revisit it, the contract playstyle is so much closer to that of like a Guardian than it is an Assassin. It is not the bait and switch thing that Assassin is now known for with the stealth and with Uzuri stuff and with take up the mantle, right? Assassin right now is some disruption, some offensive prowess, and then making your opponent have to decide whether it's worth it or not to block, right? That unease. And I like that. I enjoy that playstyle. But Huntsman is not that, has never been that, will probably never be that. So yes, it's an assassin card, but Huntsman needed this help, and it helps Huntsman, really doesn't help the others. And it does so in a way where, again, if you understand game state and you understand your matchups and things like that, the card can really shine, but also is not just like bonkers broken either. Like I think this card is great.
Yeah, I have no idea. I couldn't evaluate this if I tried. And which is why I was kind of defaulting to you. What you say makes sense. It does effectively, it's the same as having 2 block 2s in, defensive metrics.
Yeah.
But when you're talking,
what I really wish it said, so like if
block
I was no. I would actually take this over block 5 if I could. I really wish this also said trap.
Oh, so you can go in under the trap door of this fucking thing.
Yes.
You son of a bitch. Yeah, okay. I get it. That would be... yeah, but that'd be a lot. But
It would be a lot.
Which is why I was like, no, I would rather have this over 5, because it turns out that would be significantly better.
Yeah, it would. Okay. I get it. Steven, did you have any commentary on this thing, or is this just kind of looked at it and like, well, that art's cool, and closed it like I did?
Well, see, you took my thunder, because I was going to say I think the most important thing to note is that art is cool.
It is. It's great.
It's a very yin to my yang. I like that. No, I think it's a great card. I think it's super good. I think it's super good in Arachne Huntsman, as you mentioned. I don't think it's meant for any other assassin, and I am very happy to see assassins silo specific cards, because I think that is a design mistake that we have seen creep into the assassin class, not siloing enough cards to really establish specific identities for assassin heroes. And so I think the assassin class borders on just good assassin cards .deck for most heroes, and I don't like that, because I think that the assassin class perhaps more than many of the other classes, evokes an identity. It like says, I'm an assassin, and there's like a series of things that I could do. And there should be a series of things that I can't do. And I feel like it has at this point sprawled its tendrils a little too far. And I would love for them to start siloing out some of these powerful cards so that we don't just get all assassins do the same essential thing. Because it doesn't feel like some of these assassins should play the same. And by and large, they kind of do. I don't like that.
Yeah,
so I like this card for that reason as well.
I hope that they address that in the future with the chaos talent a bit more. Yeah. Like I would like to see generic assassins be a bit more mid-rangey, a la Uzuri, and then the chaos, or I mean, we had it with the mystic thing, but like that, all the mystic stuff was kind of problematic or whatever, right? But I think chaos will give us another opportunity to slowly evolve them to feel different, like you were talking about.
Yeah. That's what I want, because I don't want the class to not exist. Like I want the class to exist because it's cool and it's thematic and it fits in the like lore of the game. But I don't want the class to just be the best at everything and have the best cards at everything and therefore become best cards.deck. Like I just think that's where we're at with the assassin class. So I don't think that's good.
I blame Brian.
So I don't necessarily disagree with you. I will say, as somebody who, like, I've been in love with the assassin class since it came out. I've played it a bunch, but before that, like, one of the things that got me into the game was when my buddy was teaching me the game, he let me play Chain, right? So I've got a lot of reps on Runeblade too. And I will say, I think that assassin kind of suffers from a Runeblade problem, but worse.
1,000%.
And the reason I say but worse is because the talents, I think, did a better job of at least making the different rune blades feel different enough, right? The shadow rune blades play different from a Viscerai, which plays different from, you know, your lightning or earth rune blades, right? They all still want rune chants. They all still do the hybrid stuff. They care about attacks and non-attacks, right? There's a central identity, but they also feel different. Yeah. And that's because of the emphasis on like the talents, and that's where I would like to see assassin go, because right now you are kind of correct. Outside of huntsman, for the most part, they all feel very similar, and that's, I think, because the emphasis has just been on power cards and not on the talented stuff in particular.
Yeah, well, I think this card is a good example of how you can make an archetype, or in this case a hero, different from other heroes in the class. Because Hunter or Hunted is very clearly not meant to be played by really any other assassin hero, period, end of story. Like it's very clearly meant to be played by someone that could take advantage of knowing the knowledge at the top of the deck beforehand. Otherwise, you're just paying for a defense reaction that you're going to replace with a, 0 for 4 instead of a 3 for 4. And so like you could do that without talents. I like the idea of just, chaos talent, maybe another talent. I think that's cool too, but I think that LSS is good enough at designing that they can just do this some more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, they could. It's just, I would argue that Contract is Huntsman's talent because he's the only one who cares about it most of the time. Sure. I mean, yes, there are decks run Leave No Witnesses just because it's like generically strong, like you were saying, right? All the assassins are mostly like good cards.deck, but I just feel like the only reason I was mentioning the talent thing is because right now the class through line is stealth. And so if you're not making cards that care about stealth that also have a talent, then every assassin that cares about stealth will want to run the good stuff. Right? The same good stealth stuff in Uzuri is still good in Slippy because Slippy goes again off of stealth, right? Yeah. So that's why I was thinking about talent, because I think that design wise they're kind of in a hole where they can't do stuff that's just like generic and stealth oriented and silo it the way they could with this, because this is Contract specific. So talent is the other option.
Yeah, but it's all forward looking, right? You can't retroactively go back and make any of those changes. It's all forward. So either way they take it, it's going to be forward looking as well.
At least I really hope it's forward looking, because otherwise there's erratas and I get angry. Second spoiler was Backspin Thrust, so now we're in Mechanologist land, which I don't know anything about. But I do know that something that costs 0 with 4 power and 3 block is usually just good.
Yeah, and go again.
But you have to untap a cog to give it go again.
You have to do a good thing for yourself.
You have to do a good thing for yourself. That is once per turn, instant, untap a cog you control. Yeah. This gets +1 or go again. This is just like the dream, right?
You have to have a tapped cog. That is one thing. So this isn't like a chain starter, if you will, or a turn starter. You have to start by doing the hero power. Oh yeah, my bad. You have to like play the game. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
This is, to me, this is like Puffin's Revel.
Yeah, this is Revel in
right?
Blood. Yeah.
It's for the middle part of your turn, but it gives you
a hell of a chain ender
of,
too, though. It's a 0 for 5 chain ender.
Yeah, 0 for 5 chain ender potentially, but also like if you're untapping the cog, you probably still also want to find a way to use it again. So I think it'll rarely be used as that. I read this as, if you equate the usage of one of your cogs as like expending another resource, this is basically like 0 for 4 with go again that gives you a resource, which is really good.
Really good.
Yeah, this card's great. It's so good.
No notes on this one. This is just like, they decided
notes.
Oh, really?
I have notes. You know what this is? This is a really powerful Majestic that they realized they had to take out of the High Seas set because it broke limited.
It broke limited? Yep. Yeah. Sure did. This would definitely do it.
This card feels like that to me, and I'm totally okay with it.
Yeah.
If that is not true at all, my apologies for kind of spitballing, but it feels like that, and I think it's a smart choice because this looks like it would have broken her in half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's my notes right there.
It's there's a lot of those attacks that just wanted to tap cogs to do the thing. Sometimes tap them multiple times, so we just had to untap them and then do more stuff. Great, so excited, but that would have been disastrous and limited. Puffin's already like I do like that. High Seas Limited, little small tangent. That High Seas Limited is so well balanced between the 3 heroes. They're all ultra playable. It's a draft your seat type of thing. You can force a little bit here and there. It does work in a lot of cases, and you have that 4th hero to just really fuck up a pod in some cases too. So, A+ on the High Seas Limited experience in my mind. Not much else to add about this one.
No, it's a good card.
Can just read it and go, yep, that's the thing. Do that. Next item. Store Champs. Did you see this?
No.
So this is in the same Legend Stories Lab type of thing that they did with Project Blue. They're doing a store championship program in New Zealand where there are 8 stores that will crown a store champion who will be invited to Legend Story Studios to compete for the title of store champion, I guess. Supreme Overlord store champion, whatever it is. And that comes with some cash and a Pro Tour Yokohama qualification, as well as I believe they said flight and stuff as well. So, Now this is something that we have talked about as something that we loved about previous card games, were things like this, where there were store championships, state championships, things like that were super interesting. And I just love that they're dipping their toes in these type of things.
Oh yeah. You know what this is, right? This is the natural next step of them iterating on the celebrational.
Right. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, this is smart. When was this posted?
A couple of days, I think on Sunday is when it was posted. So yesterday.
What? This is cool. I like this idea.
Yeah, this is really interesting. And I think that is a logical next step to kind of make that a thing that happens. What is it? Legend Story Labs, I think, is what the thing is called. Yep. And step in the future, blah, 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 blah. I got to go back to the Discord. Project Blue. And Oh, there hasn't been many updates there in a while. Well, okay. But yeah, this was on a like a Twitter post that I saw, and I thought this looked really interesting. I was like, okay, that's cool. Might have been Blue Sky, might have been Twitter. Who knows? But I'm into this. If this is a thing, I'm really into this. If it's not a thing, ignore it. But if they are going to do something like this to kind of be the natural evolution of the celebrational, I am 100% in for it. Like,
yeah,
I
me
think
too.
This is the type of evolution to something awesome that we've all wanted. I'm still the current and reigning Iowa State Magic champion. Like, that's weird. And I haven't played competitive Magic since 2019. But that was something that people loved. Those events were always like super well attended and hyped, and people got into it. So I feel like, yeah, let's do the thing, right? Let's do these types of things, even if this isn't, exactly it or whatever. This type of idea is what we think we need to put into the world to go forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is cool.
And plus, give the store some rub, like,
yeah,
get your LGSs to, become the store champ of this that could feed into something along the lines of a state or regional championship. You get representatives from stores that are going to the regional event or whatever, and it all kind of culminates in that kind of celebrational atmosphere. Great. Yeah. I mean, that's insane engagement. Let's go. Let's do these things.
I think that'd be really cool.
Next thing, doing a little bit of a speed run because holy shit, we're over an hour. And we have a lot of listener questions. They finally got the Worlds formats out there. So there officially is no limited. It is all LL and Classic Constructed. So you'll have rounds 1 through 5 are CC, 6 through 8 Living Legend, and then 9 through 11 Inverted Living Legend, 12 through 15 Classic Constructed, and then it gets real interesting. The top 8 playoffs are, and we add it to the clips, we've been over this. The top 8 playoffs are single elimination best of 3s. Game 1, the player with the highest standing in the Swiss portion of the event chooses whether to select the format or defer to their opponent. The player who does not select gets to decide play or draw. We literally said this. Game 2 is the format that wasn't chosen for game 1, and play or draw determined by the person who did not win the first game. Game 3, if necessary, is the person who didn't win game 3 chooses either format, but can defer the choice to get play or draw. Cute. I love this.
Game 3 should be Blitz.
And game 3 should be, yes, but
this is my big problem with it, is it's going to take ages.
So the way that my ideal structure for Worlds is rounds 1 through 5 Classic Constructed. Rounds 6 through 8 are Blitz. Rounds 9 through 11, 9, 10, 11. Yep. Rounds 9 through 11 are Draft. And then rounds 12 through 15 are Classic Constructed. And then we go into the top 8 with best of 3 matches, Living Legend, CC, Blitz. And format choices.
I mean, I would love to watch that. I think it would be kind of hard to follow at times. I think if you're looking for something like super cogent, that might not be it. But man, if you love Flesh and Blood,
you want to be the world champion. You better be good at all the formats.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You have to establish yourself in every format, and that was like the big selling point of Worlds 1. Y'all remember? Mm-hmm. It was like you need to be able to play in the Blitz format. You need to be able to play in CC. Like that was the thing. And I mean, I thought it was pretty cool, but I know some people don't like Blitz.
Those are people that have time and resources. Who has those?
I just that how long is one quarterfinals game gonna go? Like one match?
90 minutes is probably the floor.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I would assume.
So the biggest problem, because it's top 8, I assume this also means untimed.
Correct, untimed. Yep.
I think that the biggest problem is depending on the players. You might have some people that are done in 90 minutes and then other people that are done in 4 hours.
3.5 hours. And the problem is those people that have been sitting forever, do they eat? Do they leave? Like what are they, what's the play here? And then is this I guess the top 8's literally all day at that point.
Yeah, it's all Sunday. Yeah. They're starting early. I feel like you'd almost need a 2-day top 8. Like, to be honest.
I mean,
it's.
I'm gonna watch it though. I don't even care.
We'll be
you
there.
should still be able to
right.
get it done in a day, assuming reasonable pace of play. It's just the reasonable pace of play part, right?
Which maybe this is where they really like come out with some new pace of play rules or something along those lines.
Well,
this is the first time they're
there's also
them.
so here's the other problem, right? Because Living Legend is a part of this, and because I know that it has happened at other events, what happens when you're in game 3 of this and both players are playing the Living Legend format and it's the Oldham mirror and they get to a deterministic neither player can win, so they have to restart the game because they need a winner, and now they've played another round. Then
they have to play Blitz. They have to play Blitz precons.
I don't know if you can allow that to happen from LSS.
It's happened at other events.
I know. What I'm saying, though, is I don't know if they can allow that to happen at Worlds. I feel like they would have to have thought this part through and said, look, before this, we'll make some concession to the if best of 3, we have to go with like total life difference of, all match, something like that, right? There has to be some way to avoid because if you go 6 hours for the quarterfinals, like that's just breaking it.
Steven, help me out here because you were there, if I remember correctly. One of the min-max battle hardens in Chicago, they were doing something like that, where if it hit that game state, it went by life total or life difference, I believe.
I don't remember this, but
there was it never happened, but there was a sign on the door that they were trying something new, and if X or Y happened, then Z, right? And I believe it was that. Somebody in YouTube comments tear my ass up and tell me I'm wrong or tell me, what the hell it actually was. But
the only thing I remember about
I think it was Milwaukee.
Steven being at a Chicago event was that time that I had torn my bicep and was casting alongside him, which, by the way, I miss casting with you, buddy. We should do it again soon.
Heck yeah, man. I love casting. That was such a great time. I often think about casting with y'all.
Great. Darick never says that to me, so
Well, imagine. Okay, good. You're done.
Great, I did it.
All right, so since this is a Flesh and Blood podcast, and we are talking about things I say to Steven but don't say to Logan, do you remember that time we were in Barcelona? And
I can end this now. I can end this entire thing now.
Oh, man. I think about that time all the time.
Yeah.
Us in Barcelona, man, those were our best selves. Oh, we were living the dream back then in Barcelona, weren't we? Our wives had a great time. They went and got their nails done. Destiny still talks about that.
Uh-huh. Okay. Moving on, dicks. We always give our guests the floor for any open discussion they want. So, Mr. Armada, the floor is yours. What topic would you like us to touch on?
I just think we need to go back and discuss why Justinic is +5.
Well, okay.
So
they want that 2-card block. Okay, yeah, your 1 becomes a 6. What?
I was going to say, so I think it started in design as a 5 because the prevailing thought was a 1 becomes a 6, right? I think you hit it. And then they went and they printed cards that, like, if you play Justin Nick on them, also get bigger, and then it became much more than a 1 becomes a 6.
Yeah.
They also printed a thing called Take Up the Mantle, which the buff from Justin Nick just keeps applying to the card that it got swapped out to.
Yeah. No, that's just more riffing on assassins. It's old news. That's old hat. That's last weekend stuff. What do you think's going to happen this weekend?
This weekend. So this coming weekend is
Orlando, right?
Orlando, I believe. So you have Battle Hardened Orlando. The regionality seems to have kind of been lost. So we're not at that, and Living Legend was never regional. Right?
No, it was not. It's always been kind of universal.
Yeah. Whereas like CC regionality is real. I don't feel like Living Legend regionality is a thing. Man, Living Legend is so wide open right now.
How many gravies are in the top 8?
0. But
what?
Yeah.
You're telling me you're not gonna play that cash in Tome of Fyendal Gravy?
Yeah, I'd get to sit across from Zephyr Needle Ira and go, well, shit, I lose.
Yeah, well, there's that. But like, who plays good decks in Living? Oh wait,
everybody.
Oh,
right?
Dang it.
I think it's still a Ninja Briar, sort of meta. I think Starvo will pop up in the top 8 again. Rumors of the Starvo's demise are greatly exaggerated, and I feel like that there's going to be Old School Prism at least once too, because it does have the ability to slow some of that stuff down.
That's true.
And create those sort of game states where that's like, well, shit, I can't do anything anymore. But I think your top 8 is probably 2 Ira, 2 Briar, 1 Prism, 1 Starvo, and then
a Kano.
And then your wild
probably
cards
like
are like a Kano or a like a Zen, a Tiger Stripe Shuko Zen, so that the prisms can't just fully feast at all points in time. So something along those lines, and then another Earth hero of some sort. Could be Oldham, could be Jarl, could be even Florian, because Scepter Florian still exists in there. Verdance has been somewhat neutered, but still really good. But Living Legend is very open right now, and
I don't think it's going to get streamed, right?
I'm looking. It does not have a live stream listed.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get streamed this time around, so we may not actually get to watch any big time Flesh and Blood. Oh, here's another follow-up question. This is one that I asked last week on Give and Take. We had 3 heroes that all received beach party skins made of those heroes. Who would you like to see get a beach party skin? What hero in the game of Flesh and Blood would you most want to get a beach party skin? Whether it be it's like the coolest thing, your favorite thing, the funniest thing. Charmer, what would you pick for your beach party skin hero?
So I have 2 answers. The first being the selfish one. I want Huntsman, because I like the idea of it just being like an Oni mask and then like a slim fit beach body that nobody knew was underneath there. Right? Like, I just think that would be so funny to do. But also just selfish because I want a Huntsman thing. So outside of that, I think that somebody that thematically would also like make sense to do one like that would be Riptide. I think that like a beach Riptide would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was TCG Talk's answer, and I had some fun with that in a YouTube short that I uploaded like the next day. I put like a floaty on him and some of those snorkel goggles. Oh, it's pretty solid. That's a good answer, honestly. What would you do?
I think that my selfish answer is Charmer. But I think that the fun answer, like the weirdest thing I can think of that I really would want, is Data Doll. And
Ooh.
I think a beach party skin Data Doll would be quite funny. Just generally speaking, over the top, wildly funny. Because you could do so many weird things with it. And you could have Data Doll being like in the beach party skin as like the swim up bartender, but like the entire bar just comes out of Data Doll. You could do several things. I think it'd be very funny.
I really hope they keep doing that. I think it's such a fun thing. You know what? The best comment that I got in that YouTube short was Dromai, because Dromai could be like doing sand stuff, like building like a sand dragon. That would be so fun. Are you kidding me? Oh man, it'd be great. I love it.
All right. Just to derail us even further, because we're already 8 million years into this episode. If it's not beach party themed, Steven, what other theme would you allow or want there to be a special skin for?
It's already a thing. Like the Christmas cards, I love the Christmas cards. They're kind of yokey and like a little bit cheesy, but I like that about them. So like the Christmas cards already exist, so I'd have to think about another theme and like lean into that.
Yeah, because there are Halloween cards too, the jack-o'-lantern promos.
Well,
technically,
there's a single, but not like a hero. So like that's what I want selfishly. I
figured you'd say that. Yeah.
I want like trick-or-treating versions of the heroes. But again, just because given personalities, I think there's funnier things to do, right? So like if you did any Arachne, but again, specifically like a huntsman trick-or-treater, instead of the Oni mask, it looks like a person's mask. Like he just like I'm wearing a normal face today. I'm like the opposite.
Gravy Bones is just wearing the sheet that makes him a ghost. Because, reasons.
Man, what other themes could you do?
I mean, you could do all
Thanksgiving, St. Patrick's Day.
Sure, but those are like kind of
non-holiday,
played out holiday ones.
Non-holiday.
I think like
if you're going non-holiday
the sports skin would be always a fun one. Like they're baseball players. The luchador ones would be insane.
Luchador ones would be fun. So
that'd be cool.
The one that immediately jumps out for me is Western.
That'd be fun.
Sure, I could see that. That would be unique enough because it's really not represented in the world of Wraith. Like you can't do like a Far East Asian kind of theme for everybody. You can't really do that because it's like already Mysteria, so it wouldn't make as much sense.
Like Vogue magazine covers.
Dice Masters actually, one of their last sets before they really shuttered the game, they did that for some of their full art cards. They did Marvel like superheroes, but they did like magazine covers, and it was cool. It was really cool. That'd be really good.
The Hellfire Gala, but
yeah, right there you go.
Yeah.
God, I love the Hellfire Gala.
I could see that. That would be fun. That would be really fun.
Moving on to question time. We're gonna skip the K-pop Demon Hunter one because
I'm Mira.
Fuck it.
I already got my answer.
Okay, fine. What K-pop Demon Hunter are you and why?
The cool one, I don't know. I've never seen the show.
Neither have I. This is from Goofla Brain. So whatever.
It's letting me down.
No, look, it's on my to-do list. I keep bringing it up for family movie.
It's not on my to-do list.
My kids are like interested, but then we keep picking another movie, like a Disney movie or something like that.
Or Midsommar.
No. So we just haven't made the choice yet.
My kids were the same way, but then when they finally like broke down and watched it, they were like, "This is like actually a ton of fun," and we've watched it like 4 times since or whatever.
I think they're gonna think the same exact
other day
thing.
in my house.
Just we haven't convinced them yet.
Next one's from the Orc Knight. What is the most absurd real life improvised weapon you've ever seen / heard of? I was somebody in a fit of rage threw a cordless phone at me that narrowly missed my head and went through the wall behind me. Think that was the craziest one.
Old school cordless phones.
Yep. Oh, not a cell phone. A big ass brick of a cordless phone with a giant fuck off antenna on it.
The ones that still like extended out. Yep. I knew exactly.
Narrowly missed me and went through the wall behind me. Had some heat on it. I've also been whipped by a car antenna before. They just broke off the antenna and hit me with it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been whipped by a car antenna I was whipped by coat hangers. Yeah, all that stuff as a kid. Traditional Switch stuff, but that's not like really absurd. Oh, you know what? In my younger years, I sometimes didn't make good choices, and in a not so clear mental state, I got into an argument with a friend of mine that for whatever reason, all I remember is it was hunting season. It was like a November night, and I was personally whacked, not hard, mind you, but like enough that it
you knew it happened.
Hurt.
Yeah.
I was whacked by a deer leg. So like they just had the leg, and so like they had it because doing what dumb teenage boys do. They were like they would go and they would like prance it on things, or they do it on like the roof of somebody's car and be like, look, it's like Santa on the roof or whatever. And I don't remember what I said. I just remember I mouthed off, and he just like did that and thunked me. So I'm gonna go with a deer leg.
That's a pretty good one. That's hard.
I've had like a Lego, like it wasn't even a ball. It was just like a wad of Legos, where it's dense enough that like you don't want to. I've had that thrown at me, kind of by accident. I think by a kid of mine, one of my children, who didn't realize what would happen if that actually hit someone. I've had that happen, but like it's all tame in comparison to a freaking deer leg.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to follow that?
Absurd. That was on the receiving end. The weirdest thing, and I don't even think it's weird, it was just necessity, but I stabbed my best friend at the time in the leg with a tent pole. Oh,
okay. Yep, that would do it.
So, on purpose?
Well, yeah. So it was my 10-year-old birthday. I had a sleepover. My birthday's in May, so for my big 10-year birthday party, there was a bunch of kids that came over, and we put tents in the backyard, and it was supposed to be like a camping thing. And then, we were roughhousing, doing like you do, kind of wrestling. And I took martial arts at the time. My friend took martial arts at the time, and we were messing around, and he got an upper hand on me. And so basically, like, I was on the ground and my left arm was incapacitated, and I was feeling around with my right for either anything that I could get leverage with to roll, to break the hold, or to just find as a weapon. And I grabbed something, and I thought it was a stick, and then I went to just like hit him long ways with it, but when my arm came back, the bottom part that I was holding onto went like into his leg. So
yeah, I never was a big weapon use guy. I got a lot of them used against me, but I was more the barehanded. Like, I've been shot at, I've been lawn darted, I've been hit by a lot of different things. I've had a pool cue broken over me. So
one time I was in a science lab, and I was cleaning out a test tube that we had done an experiment with, like hydrochloric acid or something like that. And I had soaped and scrubbed it like multiple times, so it was clean. But there was this cool thing that would happen when I would take the like scrubber out of the test tube. It would create like a vacuum bubble for a second. So I turned to show my friend, and the bubble like solution splattered in his eyes, and he had to go to the little shower thing, and his entire clothes were soaked. I still to this day feel so terrible that I didn't think that through. Like it didn't click in my mind that like, oh yeah, this is gonna feel like there's acid in his eyes, and then he's gonna, have to change clothes or, oh yeah. Well, there's a weapon.
I know you feel guilty about it, but just know that your good friend Matt Murdock also has a lot of Catholic guilt, so it's fine.
There it is.
But that's Catholic guilt. That's different. Next one's from Papa Jackal. Should LSS capitulate to whiny babies calling for a ban out of every deck that becomes meta dominant, or should players understand that no game is perfectly balanced? To rephrase it, you didn't have to. Have digital games and the general increase in the speed of information / player data being shared cause players to expect changes to be made instantly? I'm going to take the first quick run at this one because this was a big deal in the Magic days. You went from formats that developed very slowly into a hive mind that had effectively solved everything in the span of a day. Now, Flesh and Blood is not that fast. It's not hours fast, which is what Magic became. It takes some time, but there is a large increase of player data. Some of this and is because of the widespread use of Talishar. Obviously, you get to see what other people are doing in real time and adjust. But the reality is that it would be really odd for players to expect changes to be made instant, except we see this sort of dissonance in how people think that card games operate on speed with distribution as well, where they think that they can magically simsalabim print 10,000 more cases of a product and have them on a boat tomorrow, and that's just not fucking real. And it's the same story here. Yes, they're expecting these changes to be made more quickly than they can be and with less data than necessary to actually make a real change.
Yep.
And it is partially to blame because of the digital age and the speed at which information is accessible. We have the actual deck lists from events in our hands the day of the event usually, or very soon after. And then we now have Fab Blazing, has the deck list aggregated in no time. Excellent tool, by the way. So yeah, I think that is true. And I think that human beings in the age of social media and internet have become conditioned to be reactionary, because that's what gets clicks, man. That's what gets the likes. Do it for the gram, Just be reactionary. Don't put thought into things, for God's sakes, because somebody else will have released 10 pieces of content on the thing if you do, and then you're not going to get the clicks.
You got to farm it.
And that is the reality we live in. So yeah, I think that's true.
I don't think they should capitulate, though.
No, absolutely
At least
not.
Not in the way that's described. But I want to make sure that I say this the right way. One of the interesting things about card game balance is that there's not a nice way for me to say this, so I'll just take the heat. A lot of card gamers don't actually want balance. They want
their
enjoyment.
thing to be good. Yeah, they want their thing to be good, right?
Right. And similarly, I also do think that it's entirely fine to make changes, even if it's not about balance, but it is about player experience.
Agreed.
I've played card games where top decks weren't necessarily the things that had a problem, but they made the experience miserable for all involved, and they were adjusted. And I've played games where things were actually balanced numerically, but like people hated it. Right? So when you start going away from quantitative and you go to qualitative, then I think that you have to understand that the information that LSS has is going to be much wider than anything that we have, right? We all interact with the game in our own bubble, whether that is in Discord, on BlueSky, or Twitter, or at our LGS, whatever the case may be. And what we are complaining about in North America might not be what they're complaining about in APAC or in Europe, right? Like, so when I think about it from that perspective, I just have to trust that, they're going to continue to want to do the right thing for their game, and it might not always be what I want, but also like qualitative is an important part of the actual balance thing, and I think people forget about that sometimes.
Yep, I 100% agree. And I think I've come around to this point where what I want with regards to like a hero being, really good, or, this hero being pulled down, has started to kind of fall away a little bit, because what I enjoy is watching a wider variety of heroes show up. I think it's because I really enjoy the consumption of this game from all these different avenues that I've started to turn this corner of I just want my hero to be good, and I would rather a lot of heroes to be viable. And there's definitely some mixture of both quantitative and qualitative adjustments that go into that. And like, I want to enjoy watching or interfacing, even if it's with a new hero or a different hero. I want to enjoy that. So for me, I think that there's this really interesting line of like, if they hit Gravy Bones, I really enjoy Gravy Bones, but I'm fine with that because it means other heroes could be doing something cool. And what would that look like? That'd be fun to watch. So it's like this 1,000-foot view of the game, maybe compared to someone that's looking at just their hero as more of a specialist. You can look at the game either way you want, but I'll tell you what, I'm okay if they end up, nuking Gravy Bones a little bit and nerfing an assassin. And I'm totally fine if they don't. And I think that perspective is also important to try and grasp onto as well.
Yeah, the qualitative experience is something that is the biggest reason why people play games, right? It's that the game quality to them, whatever the virtue that they're looking for within the game is, that itch is scratched. When that itch stops being scratched,
sure,
they tend to react poorly. But sometimes the itch they want scratched isn't for the good of the game or the good of the community. It's for the good of them, at which point in time, it ain't about you, kids. Like, sorry, not sorry. Moving on. This one's from Soft Sloth. Hi, DM Armada. Love your work.
Oh, hey.
Do you think that a true PvE is a necessary element of Fab's future, or do you think products like Smash Palace and formats like Project Blue are enough to fill the casual scene's needs into the next decade?
Is it a necessary product? I don't think it's necessary. Would it be cool? Oh, heck yeah. Is Flesh and Blood and LSS, is that a company that likes to try cool things? 100%. Are they doing that with some of these other products? I think so. I think that's what, to some degree, I think that's what Smash Palace is and, can represent conceptually, alongside of a bunch of other things, like trying to find ways to bridge the gap for new players, bringing casual players, interface with a new type of product in mastery packs. I think products like that can do what PvE can also do, but is PvE a necessary thing? No. I would love to see it, though. I really would like them to go and revisit that idea, because I do think it's permanently shelved as of right now.
Yeah. Next one's from Big Chillin'. Now that the new Kasai spec has made her S+ tier, when do we begin to bow down to our Kasai overlords? Actual questions, though. Do you think the new Kasai spec is that good or hype? Why won't LSS give Olympia gold payoffs instead of more gold?
I do think it's that good. I think this card's incredible, but I don't think it's so broken that people are going to complain about it. I think, and this is the best part I think about Kasai, they've given her probably some of the best good cards. It's this card feels good. Playing this card feels good, but it's not cracked.
Right. She's never stopped being fair.
Yeah, well, maybe even fair isn't the right way to describe it, but I think you're on the right track. She feels like one of those heroes that feels sometimes you're doing something that just feels really good, but it's not broken. Yeah, right. It's not broken. So maybe maybe fair is the right way to describe it. But she feels so good, and this is one of those cards that's going to feel super duper good into just about every matchup that you possibly could, except for maybe any ninja that wants to draw cards off your guys.
Yeah, the weird one here is that it kind of fixes a hole in the game plan, because on those non-gold or non-copper generating turns, a lot of times they just let the first sword hit if you don't play anything in front of it, because they know the second sword's coming in for more because of your Blade Runners or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
And now it's nope, should have blocked that one, and here's the 3-2 for your trouble, So it kind of fills that hole in the game plan. And it's also another yellow block 3.
It's so good, man.
Okay.
Oh, makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And it looks cool. The art's great. It's 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
To answer the Olympia part,
because I'm not going to. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes people forget that gold itself is also potentially a payoff.
If you're Shiana.
Well, just in general, what do we see with Gravy, right? Sometimes you turn that one card hand back into 4 just off of gold, right? So
Right, but then he has something to do with it versus Olympia, who doesn't.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Well,
yeah.
that's because people aren't running Pummel Olympia.
Honestly, and this is kind of funny that you mentioned that, because I was playing, maybe it was last week or the week before, I was playing a fair bit of Project Blue Olympia with a similar idea where you're using like vigor tokens to crack gold so that you can draw and get like a +1 resource like advantage, so that you could work your way into like hold'ems and things like that to wager some more to get more gold. And it still just doesn't feel like enough of a payoff, which is just so sad. I don't know why they're not giving him a payoff, but I do think that the equipment is kind of cool. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Some of the best Xi'an equipment ever printed.
It is. Yeah, it ties into, the visiting the anvil, the golden anvil. So I appreciate that, but at the same time, like, it would be cool. Like, I put a video out talking about the spoilers. I think it was last week, and when I saw those, I was like, why isn't this just a piece of equipment, like an arm piece that gets +1 counter sat on it whenever you crack a gold, and then you can destroy that arm piece to give an attack +X at instant speed? It'd be super cool, man.
Yeah, it'd be a payoff.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Next one is from Nora with the cards currently revealed in the expansion slots and main set for Super Slam. What are your honest hopes and expectation around what gets hit on the next ban list? I think we kind of all talked about it. It's nothing.
Yeah. I know some people are going to be like, Plume of Evergrowth, and I'm like, I don't care.
Right, or Take Up the Mantle. Why are you trying to neuter an entire class?
I'm okay with Take Up the Mantle if they want to do that.
You know what? Even as an assassin player, I think I'm actually okay with Take Up the Mantle, if I'm being honest.
I don't think it's that big. I don't think it's a big enough deal to touch personally. But if they did do it and they had a rationale for it, it wouldn't raise my hackles at all.
I mean, I know what I'm about to say is going to upset a bunch of people, and they're going to say that's exactly why they have to do something. But the reality is, Assassin has so many good cards that are also just not being played right now that I also sometimes wonder if, depending on what they take away from Assassin, they will just end up making things worse. Because I firmly believe there are a couple of cards that are not in a lot of lists that potentially should be.
I kind of feel that way about Gravy. I feel like Gravy could be built in slightly different ways if given the space to breathe. But when you see a card like Swell, give me 3 resources, give me an extra resource off of a gold crack, possibly make me an extra action point if you find back alley break line, it's like, why would I not play that card?
Right.
I feel that same way.
Yeah. Next one's from Johnny Pastrami. This was pretty targeted to me. As a person contemplating getting into Kingdom Death Monster, what the fudge and why? Okay.
It's so good.
It's so good. Here's your checkbox. Here's your checkboxes. Do you like complexity? If yes, great. Do you like absurd minis that are ultra detailed, with some of the craziest batshit designs you can imagine? Check mark yes, great. Are you into like high level strategies that are required to find the best way forward? If that's the case, great. Are you into utter brutality? Because you're going to lose characters that you have put a bunch of time into to build them up and make them into the best versions of themselves, and they're just going to fucking die out of nowhere. If you're okay with all of that, plus some grid-based combat, that is very open world-ish, then this is your game. It is sit down and do boss battles over and over and over again of different bosses, a lot, throughout a campaign setting, and try to get to the end and win. I have completed a campaign killing the end boss exactly once. And I have put hundreds of hours into this game. It's hard. It's brutal, but it's fun as hell. And you get to scratch that itch of like world building, because you're building gear sets and you're building the actual village that you're in with having different types of buildings to keep upgrading your gear. You're upgrading your gear sets so that you can keep fighting stronger monsters, and on and on and on and on and on. And it scratches all of those itches so well that it's a high price point, but the replayability is way up there, especially if you play it with like the level of fidelity that the rules dictate that you should. That's why. Darick's played it exactly once.
No, I had demoed it before.
Okay.
I just redid it with Stark, but I haven't played like a proper campaign yet. It's only ever been like short, essentially one shot.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I recently just acquired all of it, so I own all $8,000 worth of it or whatever it is. It's not cheap, but that's also so many things. Like, it requires 2 board game shelves to hold just that. So
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Like some of your minis are, honest to God, like 9 inches tall. They're the size of this thing right here. And
it's not a mini anymore.
It's no longer a mini. It's a giant, it's a giant scaled sculpture, of something.
The designs are really cool though. It's like some of the best, almost like doomsday horror is the way I would describe it. It's not
apocalyptic doomsday horror. But it's basically,
we're like almost just hellish horror.
Yeah.
It is.
I usually tell people Dark Souls combined with Monster Hunter.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to describe it.
It's very much so those types of vein. Moving on, this one's from Charlie. Do you think it is possible for community sentiment around Blitz to change? If so, what would that take? Are all the Shiana buffs the answer we're looking for? Oh.
Yeah, I think it is possible for community sentiment to change around Blitz, but I think it would come from a combination of top-down and bottom-up pointed examples of why Blitz is in a better spot than it was for that tiny time where people were hating on it. Because Blitz was one of those things at one point where it was the game. It was more than CC.
Right.
During that first time. Like, it was how you played Flesh and Blood. And not that it ever has to be that again, but I think the community sentiment shifted so hard that pendulum swing could have the capacity to swing back. But I think it would take what LSS has already done is balance the format. I think the format is balanced. I think the data proves that. I think the data has relatively proved that for the past year outside of Zen. I think Verdance was the hidden hero behind Zen in that format. That was just way good. But I think LSS has really done a good job of balancing it. And I think, unfortunately, all the community sentiment really just spits in their face a little bit. I think that's really just disrespectful from the community to basically just say, no, I'm not interested in interfacing with everything that you've done. I mean, you can like what you like and you can not like what you don't like. That's fine. You're allowed that. But I think some of the vitriol that's very pointed towards the format does fly in the face of all the work that LSS has done. So I think LSS has done some of that work. I think if they push the format in a fun way, similar to what they're doing with Skirmish, but maybe specifically for the Blitz format, and do something interesting with it, I think you could get people on board with that. And then I think it would come from more people starting there and then falling back in love with the format. That is very exacting and it's very punishing. And the benefits to that once you lose the game because you made one wrong decision, you can play another one. So I don't know. I think that there's benefits to it, and I do think it could change. But is it going to? Who knows?
Yeah. Next one's from Joshua Scott.
Oh, I'm ready for this one.
Our good friend.
Oh, I'm so excited for this one. I couldn't remember any of the other questions, but this one, I know my answer to this one.
I got mine on this one too. Each of you must update the text on one card of your choice. Which card do you errata and why? For parentheses, for Logan's sake, let's pretend that it magically updates every physically printed card in the world. Thank you, Josh.
I'm really glad he said that because of my specific card as well.
Well, he just knows that I would have gone on an entire errata tangent.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, Steven, I'm going to let you lead off.
Are you kidding me? This is so easy. Windmill slam dunk that Treasure Island, baby. Come on. All you got to do is go to Treasure Island and remove the freaking macro word. Take macro out. You can put it in your deck. You can find it. You can pay for it. Just throw some cost there at the top. Never let it be removed except if they play another landmark and then it gets out of here. But Treasure Island needs to be in the game of Flesh and Blood in constructed level tournaments. Period.
That's interesting. I mean, I do enjoy the Treasure Island interactions. I think it actually increases the pace of the game in a meaningful way.
It does so much for Flesh and Blood in a meaningful way.
All right, Darick, I know you probably put a ton of thought into this.
Well said.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did, but the problem was I didn't really come up with like anything super meaningful because I think a lot of stuff is mostly fine. I really do like the Treasure Island thing though, but I've been saying before that I just want to see macros in general more part of the game. Like I would love to see a thing. Well, I would like us to get to a stage where you bring a hero and a macro.
Yeah,
personally.
I think that could be cool.
I think
That's
that
very Star
something
Wars.
like that would be very
That's
cool.
very Decipher Star Wars.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Which I'm not going to get mad about.
I do think that would be really cool. They would have to either change the way macros work because you can't count it as your deck, or just tie it to a hero maybe, or like the class. I don't know.
Yeah.
Potentially. Like pirates being the only ones that can use Treasure Island would make sense.
Yeah.
Any elemental hero can use Sanctuary of Arya. You know.
Sure.
Right. Something like that, right? Like you could have talents tied to the macros, whatever, but I just think that would be neat. Yeah, I mean, I thought about this for quite a bit, and I mean, there's a bunch of like meme answers, right? You know, I could say like change Pummel to say discard 4 cards, or I could do what I did earlier, which is like say, the new defense reaction has the word trap on it. But I also know that all of those are going to be like wildly overpowered, not fun at all. So I think where I ultimately landed was that I would like to see. I think that I would like to see something for the young heroes that don't have adult versions yet. So like where I had originally landed was like, I just want to take the young off Data Doll and have her have an adult version. Something like that. I know that a lot of people have nightmares about that sort of thing, but I don't know.
I think that'd be cool, actually.
Yeah. I think that's good.
I mean, they basically did that with like Arachne Solitary Confinement and to some degree Valda,
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm changing my answer. Valda needs to have the increased HP in the adult form.
There it is.
That's
42.
that's the change I'm making, because that still pisses me off.
You have no idea.
There it is.
Mine's probably somewhat controversial, but it's adding onto Gravy Bones. At the beginning of your end phase, destroy all allies unless you tap a gold for each one you control.
Tap a gold?
Mm-hmm.
Tap a gold.
You can still blow the golds. They don't tap to crack.
Yeah, for sure.
That doesn't change it. But you
Yeah, I
have
was
to
just
do
trying to see, like,
something to pay for these, because every other ally has like something that is a drawback to them that is very real. Like
Phantasm.
Phantasm and even Ward is a bit of a drawback.
No, it's not.
I mean,
what are you talking about?
You can't just keep it around. You can't just keep it around infinitely.
Oh my
it will go away.
Y'all remember Enigma? You remember that hero that existed?
Enigma's problem was that it had a stupid fucking dragon that you couldn't attack. Period.
Oh, sorry. I got a little sick to my stomach there. Enigma existed.
But I think that's something that that requires some form or fashion of upkeep on Gravy's allies. That doesn't necessarily hamper the explosive turns, because cycling through the golds and stuff like that is still a real thing. A lot of times they still have like 4 or 5 left over, but something meaningful for the early game would be, I think, good.
I think they should die at the start of your turn.
Okay,
And
that's fine
Watery Grave and Watery Grave doesn't exist to flip them upside down, so you can keep calling them back. I think that'd be cool.
I think that might be okay.
I think we just need cards that interact with Watery Grave or something.
Like gravekeeping?
Yeah.
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 Moving on.
I'm going to keep saying it till I see other people playing it.
There was one in my list in Kansas City, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Next one is from Quiet Mind. Should Project Blue / Silver Age replace Blitz as the premier short format for competitive play?
Moving on.
Okay, moving on. Next one's from Polish guy, Mr. Armada. Remember when I won 11 box battles in a row?
Dude was cracked.
I don't even know what that is.
We would open boxes, and like 2 people would buy 1 box. We'd split the box in half, and we would open each packs, like the 12 packs separately. Whoever had the biggest like hit, the like priciest
Rigged
hit,
it.
would win the box. It was
Okay,
pretty,
11 in a row.
Yeah, he was crazy. It was crazy.
Oof. Mine is the opposite of that luck.
Project Blue is cool though.
Project Blue is cool.
Project Blue is
think it's
cool.
fun.
Should it replace Blitz? Blitz has already been replaced, so there's no way that it can.
I think it should replace Commoner. That's my hot take.
Okay, yeah, I'll take
Sure.
that. I'll take that. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't have really any love for Commoner.
Yeah.
After about 2.5 years ago, not interested.
Oh boy. Despite Gravy being your number 2 deck right now, how would you like Necromancer being developed, and what is another class you'd like to see it paired with? Question to Logan and Darick 2.
How would I like it to be developed?
Yep. And what is another class you'd like to see it paired with?
Yeah, I like the idea of like calling your zombies or whatever out of the graveyard, but I think what I was saying with the Gravy Bones allies, like losing them and having to recall them, that feels more necromancery, because it's like there's always this threat that they're just going to keep coming back. They're just going to keep coming back. And you don't get that with Watery Grave. You get it once and then they're gone, and that's why you put multiples in the deck. But I think it would be cool if you had like legendary allies, but you know that you could call them back. You just have to find them first, and then like you would have to pay, an crazy cost or whatever. But you call them back out, and then they die, and then they go away. Then you have to go through the process of calling them back out again. I would like to see that. I think that would be even more necromancery to me, and I think that would be really fun to kind of do its thing. But I think Shadow Necromancer is like the one everyone's gonna say. But
so I agree, Shadow Necromancer. That's my answer. But specifically because I want there to be like a very specific gameplay loop with Shadow Necromancer. One where if you're going to keep reanimating stuff, if it doesn't have Watery Grave like you're talking about, then you still have to, in my mind, like pay the cost, both thematically and game. So you're getting there. So there's the Blood Debt side. What I would like to see is a combo of almost like Vincent and Levia gameplay, where in order to play your allies, you have to banish a certain number of cards from your discard pile. And then when you play the cards from Blood Debt with whatever the other mechanic is for the hero, or maybe it's on equipment like a compass or whatever, then that gets cards back into your discard pile. So there is a loop, but you have like this kind of mini quest in doing so. And there's the risk reward of like, I get the ally, but then maybe I'm taking Blood Debt for a bit until I can get rid of the cards. Right. I think something like that would fit the Shadow theme very well and the Necromancer theme very well. I also really like the idea of if you're going to be going down that path as well, something where you have something beyond just the allies as part of it as well, right? So like right now, the biggest issue I have with Gravy is like it's allies, and then like yes, you run other attacks, but with the exception of like 1, maybe 2, the rest are really just to turn on the rest of your stuff. Sure. I also want a Necromancer that still feels like it's potent with both allies and like with class identity, like the actual Shadow side. So I think that would be a fun loop in my mind, for me anyway, of you have to like navigate the how many cards do I have in either spot sort of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can agree with that.
Next one, well, next two are from Vintox because he put like 12 in there, but the entire question brick would be his questions, so I decided to give him two. For DM Armada, how do we make a number go up for Flesh and Pod? They need your expert tutelage on self-promotion. We're terrible at it, I know. For everyone, oops, all specs. If you all of you could design a spec card, what would it be and why?
Ooh, I didn't think about that. That's an interesting one. How to make a number go to the other number. Just keep saying it and showing it on the screen.
Oh, yeah, we don't do that.
I think that's the play.
Yeah, that's not us.
Spec card. Ooh, I'd have to think about that. Someone else go.
Spec cards are hard. Mine would be something along the lines for as an Olympia spec, because I think he needs one. That would be sacrifice any number of golds. Your next attack with wager gets overpower, gets plus power equal to the number of golds that you sacrifice this way, and overpower. And then basically the attack version would just be as simple as create X number of golds where X is half the number of damage that's dealt. So you can kind of keep looping and do fucking something, like something.
So my specialization is for Betsy, and it's just log.
I'm about to say it's log. Okay.
That's pretty good. Tell me more about that.
Well, it rolls downstairs and under the chairs and over the neighbor's dog.
It says
It's also it's great for a snack and fits on your back. It's log, log, log.
Pay 4 to swing for 6, but if you've won a wager this turn, then it gets +2 attack.
This is a 4 for 8 piece of lumber.
Yeah. It's just a log.
Well, there you go.
All right.
All right, I got one. I'm just riffing this off the top of my head. Blaze specialization. Opt X, where X is the amount you pay. And then I don't like the idea of like deal damage based on how much you opt. But I think it would be cool if this were... You have to be able to banish this off of Blaze's effect, so it does have to deal some amount of damage. And let's say... reveal reveal the top card of your deck, deal damage based on its color, something like that, where you're getting opt counters but you're also dealing damage, and you're kind of like keeping that game plan going, something to that effect. Or you can make it like super splashy where it banishes the top card of your deck and you can play it, so you get like a way to kind of do multiple things on the same turn. I think that would be kind of cool, because you're playing off the top of your deck and with the opt counters and things.
So it's when you kill your opponent by pitching Eye of Ophidia, Will of Arcana into whatever this is, and watch them cry?
No, because it's like it's based on what you pitch into. Like, so it's opting itself and how much you've opted, like the card itself. But I guess you could, if you wanted to lean into that, sure. Yeah, you could say how much, deal X based on how much you've opted this turn. That'd be kind of cool, actually. Yeah, maybe we go that. Yeah, maybe we go that way. Deal.
So yeah, one turn, just one-shotting with Blaze. Okay.
I don't know if you can. I mean, you can. What's the most I've ever opted in a game in Blitz? 12.
I'll say
and
that
that was
right.
not on one turn.
Okay.
I've gotten like 12 counters before, maybe across like a couple of turns, like really high roll. But you're not doing that on one turn.
No. Greg asked, Darth Prentice, our friend, and person who's helping us with our episode 200 shenanigans. DM Armada, what cookie deserves to catch a ban? My go-to is oatmeal raisin, because that's not really a cookie. Greg, you're just fucking stupid. Oatmeal raisin is not only a cookie, it's an S-tier cookie.
It's not S-tier.
It's S-tier.
We don't need to lie. You don't need to lie
S-tier.
Don't lie to the audience.
It's better than that like boring missionary chocolate chip horse shit.
Any cookie that has nuts in it needs to just not be.
Oh, that's so not true. Are you allergic? Are you a nut allergic person?
No, I just like good things.
I mean, I like a good kitchen sink cookie.
Oh, no.
I will say this. Logan is half right. I love oatmeal cookies, but I hate oatmeal raisin cookies.
What would you put in instead?
Chocolate chips.
No, just like cinnamon oatmeal cookies. Like you don't need
just no raisins.
Yeah, just no raisins.
I'd eat it.
Just a pinch more cinnamon.
I mean, I'd totally eat it.
I'd eat that. Yeah.
Cinnamon, nutmeg,
Yeah,
oatmeal.
I just
Cookies
don't.
with nuts, though, forget that.
I would rather see. I'm okay with nuts because like I would rather have the crunch in my cookie than the weird chewy raisin. Like when I'm
I'll take the raisin every day.
when I'm dunking my cookie in milk and then I go to bite into it, I either want it to be crunchy or soggy, and I don't need it to be like this weird chewy thing. Like
I don't know.
I do not like the consistency of raisins.
My favorite.
I'm okay with raisins. Yeah, I don't mind oatmeal raisin.
Yeah, my favorite cookie is something that Steven would hate, which is white chocolate macadamia nut.
That sounds so bad. Why would
it's
you
so
do that
good.
to yourself?
It's delicious.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't get on that one, Logan.
Okay, and then after that, it's probably peanut butter, which you'd still hate.
Oh, I would be okay with peanut butter.
Oh, okay, and then
Yeah.
oatmeal raisin.
The flavor. See, here's the thing. The flavor's not bad. Like the flavor overall, it's the texture. Like I don't think a cookie should do that. I think that's not what nature intended.
See, and that's the way I feel about the raisins, right? Like I'm same way, just on the other end of the spectrum. Like I'm fine if I bite into a cookie and I've got like pecans in it or something, or walnuts.
Yeah,
but
I
if
love
I've got
walnuts.
raisin,
You like bite in and then you gotta bite in again. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
folks?
because bread is better when it's toast, which is just it cooked again. Like
No,
sometimes you got to do it
this
twice.
is a completely different texture profile.
It's so good though.
In any case, I made cookies last night.
What'd you make?
you know what's just a good cookie in general that doesn't get nearly the love I think it deserves. It never, in my opinion, never comes up during these cookie discussions, but should belong there at all times.
The snickerdoodle is a great answer.
Well, so I love those. My personal favorite are molasses, but no, the underrated cookie, if you will, is no-bake cookies. Like no-bake cookies are phenomenal.
They are not.
They are.
They are bird
so good.
regurgitation that are being presented as a cookie. I'm not.
But it's all of the best stuff.
It's
He
not
doubled
though.
down. He doubled down. He's like, yeah,
He definitely doubled down.
Yeah, that's chick vomit. That's what that is. That's where we're going with this. That's what we want to put in
I'm
your
the
mouth.
hardest
like a
of
no-bake
passes.
cookie. You can chew it up and spit it into my mouth personally. I don't care. It's going to
We are
be
trying
delicious.
this. We are going to prove this. While we drink expired Ecto Cooler, I am going to spit cookie into your mouth. This is going to happen. They have to be no bake though, so that's I have to sacrifice as well because no bake cookies are an abomination. Like absolutely
man.
not.
Oats, chocolate, peanut butter.
Where do you
I don't
stand
need
on just
anything
the
else.
sugar cookie?
I hate them.
I think they're completely overrated. Like
They're
there's
not worth
nothing.
it.
They're not worth the time and effort.
They're just bad.
You could have made a snickerdoodle, and you just elected not
they're
to.
one step away from
Yeah.
a good cookie.
You just elected not to do it. So it's like, yeah, you fucked up. Like, I mean,
You could have had the world.
exactly. And then the last part for the cookie debate for me, how do you feel about those, like, the cakes that are, like, masquerading as cookies? Like, you get those super, like, dense and pillowy, like, be a slice of cake.
Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's like, this is not worth it. Don't do this to me.
Yeah, okay. Because, like, a lot of times with me, I will get, like, a red velvet cookie. And
that's your fault.
well, right. I'm trying to make things happen. And sometimes it's like, okay, they actually made a cookie. Most of the time it's like they just bastardized the cake.
Yeah, the only time anything goes in my mouth that I think could maybe be some sort of cookie hybrid is when they announce it ahead of time. Like if you tell me it's a brookie and I know it's going to be brownie and cookie, I'm fine. Or like a blondie or whatever, but no.
All right. Last question. We're finally towards the end here. From Rogue Noob. For everyone, what do you think had the biggest impact on the game? The new sets of full-powered cards and crazy talents, so Mistveil, Rosetta, or the increase in armor where we once had only Guardian being able to present 4 pieces of battle worn temper 2 equipment, but is now the default for most classes? Is it the default for most classes?
No.
No, right?
No.
I mean,
No, it's just like Guardian and Warrior.
right.
Yeah. It's their
And
class
that makes sense.
identity.
They're
I
like
would
the
say-
physical martial classes. So
I mean, it's really easy. It's the fact that we have talents that just kind of push power levels past the generic card pool.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
I remember this discussion from ages ago where we talked about what if we had a format where it was non-talented heroes only. Like you know,
Yeah,
it's
I think
your
that'd be cool.
it's your soldier format or whatever you want to call it, right? I mean, just non-talent only. Which right now wouldn't be great because Gravy Bones would just wreck everybody. We were going to call it the Flesh and Pod format because we've never had any talent. Is that where you're going with this?
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure so we were on the same wavelength
Okay,
here.
yep.
Nailed it.
That was 100% it. The untalented format, and I heard us.
After nearly 150 episodes together, we pretty much have a psychic wavelength at this point.
Yep.
So yeah, that made sense. But yeah, it's talents are the upgrade to the game, or what overpower heroes for two reasons. One, the text box on the hero changes in a degree to go in line with the talent, which usually means something crazy happens with it. And the other part is the card pool expands. When a card pool is bigger, you have more options to do things. That's really it. So, okay. But right now the best hero in Flesh and Blood is non-talented, but is dual classed. So there's that.
Arachne is not dual classed. Get out of here.
Correct, but is talented.
Arachne is not dual classed.
There is that part too. So if you want to go the other direction and say that Slippy's the best or whatever, then Slippy's talented. So either way.
So I know this was presented as like an either or, but I would say the thing that's had the biggest impact on the game has been everything but the game. I know I bring this up a lot, but like shout out to this game surviving through so much global uncertainty, whether it's like launching in the middle of a pandemic or having to deal with supply chain issues after the fact and shipping issues and now tariff issues and printing issues because of the TCG boom. So there's like literally a line at the printers at any given moment. And it's still an original IP that's
crazy.
You know, not just surviving, but thriving. Like, to me, that's the thing that's had the biggest impact on the game, because if this game had launched, like I do often think about this, if this game had launched in like the mid 90s, it would be insane where we'd be right now.
Right.
It's true.
But you're right. It is probably the most resilient card game we've ever seen. The decks have been stacked against it numerous times. But the stewardship of the company has made sure that the game would be set up to succeed in spite, and not only succeed, but now they're suffering from their own success. Like, because of the things like they can't print enough, to satisfy demand. And, people want to play more Flesh and Blood, and they're like, how the fuck do we do that? And so their problem now isn't that the game isn't popular or isn't selling. It's the opposite. It's that the game is on the cusp of explosion, and they just need the resources that they can't acquire because of these things to just push it over the top for the cauldron to boil over. But the fact that it survived through what it has, where a ton of other things that are bigger IPs have stumbled or failed outright, is incredible. So, hats off to the team there. It's been wild to be a part of it for the last 4 years, it's crazy. Well, Steven, you made it. You got to the end of the show.
Indeed.
I'm so proud of you right now. We're gonna thank some patrons and get the hell out of here because it's late and I got shit to do. And I forgot to filter this page because I'm a fucking moron.
Leave that in.
No, I always do. I don't edit that out. Anytime that I'm just self-deprecating stays in no matter what. Plus, I don't have time to edit, so I just leave it all in. Let's thank our associate producers. We have, if this would ever load, Aladoris, Andy, who is our longest tenured associate producer, apparently. That's a thing. Anthony Sindra, Donnie Heiner, Ejor, and Jacob. Hold on, I got not this filtered right at all, do I? There we go. We're back. I'm still right. Alidorus, Andy, Anthony, Sindra, Heiner, Ezur, Jacob, and Sleep Coma and Sofsky. Our executive producers on up. We have Blaze Storm, value member of the Patreon, Diana the Green Cosplayer, John, Micaiah, Sergeant Eastbjorn, the Delusian Data Analyst. And for our Chargers Chamber of Charcoal participants, we have Brandon, Matt, Michael, and Trevor. You're not underappreciated, you dipshit. You just put an underappreciated member of the Patreon. No, you're not. Stop it. However, it's
just the yin to the yang of the valued member.
I know, but
versus under.
He is now eligible to come on the show for his spot. Zaris, you are one away from being eligible to come on for your spot on the show. And then we go to our God, I have to explain this again. Steven, do you listen to the show? I don't remember.
Occasionally.
Okay. So a thing happened when we were in Indy, and one of my friends, Charmer, was doing his entire I like to test the tensile strength of ceiling fans a bit, which, by the way, we're getting shirts that say "'tis a bit, ergo commit." But so he was in the whole thing, and so my buddy goes, "I don't understand how ceiling fans isn't a Patreon tier," and I agreed. I think that's a perfect Patreon tier, is to have ceiling fans. It's the ceiling. It's the capstone, right?
I get you.
But I wanted to make sure that nobody would ever subscribe to it. So I put it as like $60 a month, so it's a lot for nothing. And then also made it so that the reward was that you get to sit in and listen in as we record an episode, but you don't get to interact, but we can hear you so that you can kind of direct the action. I made it a digital cuck chair. And Rich, your battle box battles buddy, snap subscribed to it. First, he called me out, calling it a digital cuck chair, and then immediately subscribed to it.
Okay.
I got picked off. I got picked off at third base, is basically what it turned into.
That's what she said.
You see, that's why we have you around. If you are interested in becoming a member of the Patreon, go to patreon.com/fleshandpod. Link is in the show notes. There's some number of tiers. Pay for one of them. You can come hang out on Fab After Dark, which is a live show we do in our Discord that is not recorded because we say shit that we wouldn't say to our mothers. Well, that's not true. We actually have brought my mom on that show. If you need to contact the show, you can send us an email at fleshandpod@gmail.com. You can find us on BlueSky. Just search Flesh and Pod. Biggest thing, just join our fucking Discord. It's free. Links in the show notes. You can just click the thing and do the thing, and then you're in there with all of us degenerates. It's great. Steven, where can they find you?
Anywhere where DM Armada is claimed by me. So on YouTube, kind of on Twitter, kind of on BlueSky. I think it actually says DM Armada on BlueSky.
It does.
But all those places. Yeah, the normal places. You know the thing. The guy in the place. And you'll never forget it.
That's that one. Charmer, what about you?
You can find me posting Huntsman lists in our Discord.
Nice.
Are they in the Dad Jokes channel? Because that's where they belong.
Oh, man, they should be there. They should be there.
You're so predictable.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show for this week. Thank you, Steven, so much for coming in and indulging our stupidity. It's always a good time. I guess I didn't ask. Are you team reviled this time, or are you team revered?
Reviled?
That's my guy right there. We're all reviled. We're boo birds over here. I can't wait for the crowd to boo us. The crowd boos.
It's gonna happen.
And we all respond.
Have they released the full list of people that have spoilers this time around yet?
I don't think so. No.
I don't think so. No. And I keep forgetting to send it over to Philip at Fabrary. Oops. I need to get on that too. But thank you guys for hanging out, and thank you so much everybody for listening. If you got this far, congratulations. But yeah, we'll be back next week for episode the 196th excuse for me to hang out with my friends. Until then, be good, be safe, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.